my house, in the middle of the street. When I pay my mortgage, I round up and divide in half. I pay half every other week. So, my mortgage got picked up by another company when my mortgage company went out of business. To do what I was doing with the new company was $300 to enroll and an extra $40 each payment. Oh hell no. I spoke to my credit union and they had an auto pay that would pay my bills from my direct deposit free. So nearly a year goes by and I get one of those scary ass letters. You are in default on your mortgage. Unless we get X payment within 10 days of this letter we will foreclose. I was astounded since I had never missed a payment and was actually paid a couple of months ahead. I spoke with their accounting department. It seems they couldn't accept half payments, only full payments. Even though they had done so for a year. So the money had to sit unapplied until a full payment was accrued. That made sense, except again, they got more than enough and it was always in there in full before the due date. So on the due date they should have just taken it and applied it to the mortgage. So further digging, the rep says to me, oh by the way, we have $8,200 of unapplied funds in this account. What do you want to do with it? I'll pay my mortgage with it. Oh, we can't do that. So, I had to get a check cut for $8,200, pay $45 for them to overnight it to me, take it to my credit union, cash it, pay $25 for a cashier's check, and pay another $45 to send the cashier's check back to them. I called relentlessly to see when it had arrived and had all kinds of postal tracking, signature confirmation, etc. Remember, I only had 10 days to get this shit straight. So, they get it and verify that it is applied to my mortgage and that there will be no foreclosure. The rep tells me, well, your next payment is due in 2 weeks and there will be penalties and late fees applied, so the amount is XYZ and we are raising your interest rate to nearly twice what it was before. No. All this is your company's fault. She says you knew these were the terms and conditions when you took out your mortgage with us. No. I didn't take it out with you, I took it out with another company and I was assigned to your company. Well, don't be late with the next payment. No. I want to speak with a manager. So I finally get to speak to a manager and he wasn't much better. His only response, well, you can always go with another company but good luck with that these days. So many foreclosures and your credit is not very good from missing so many payments. So I decided to take his advice. I contacted my credit union, explained everything, showed them their own payment transfers, and the mortgage statements showing the other company had received the money bi-weekly like clockwork. And the credit union took over my mortgage. I got a reduced interest rate and killed all the fees, penalties, and got the overpayment back. I applied it to the new mortgage payments, etc. So, when a company acts like they have you over a barrel and tells you to try to go with someone else, do it. Edit, this still astounds me even after all these years. I can't imagine any other company. Car loan, credit card company, etc. asking, hey, what do you want us to do with all this money sitting over here? And not automatically concluding, oh yeah, let's apply it to the outstanding balance. Now to the comments. Credit unions rule. I've banked with them since 1980 and I'll never go back to commercial banks. What's a credit union? Serious? In the States, it's like a regular bank, which is actually called a commercial bank, except a credit union is a non-profit and is controlled by its members who can vote on the actions the bank takes. Name that company. OP replied. Wells, they used to ferry cargo back in the day. That doesn't surprise me at all. The Stagecoach Bank sucks donkey balls. I absolutely refuse to do business with them. And your credit is not very good from missing so many payments. You didn't miss a single payment, and if your credit score says you do, dispute it. These asinine idiots stuck up, you didn't. It's absolutely nuts, isn't it? Like they have OP's money for the mortgage, but aren't applying it to the mortgage, and on top of all that are acting as if it's OP's fault the mortgage isn't paid when they have the money. It's like a modern-day Kafka sequel. I wouldn't have them cut the check. I'd tell them to go ahead and initiate foreclosure proceedings. I would love to see what a judge would have to say about a financial institution refusing to apply $8,200 of a client's money to a client's loan. I mean, they can probably include such nitpicky terms in their contract, but a judge is going to evaluate the purpose for including those terms. Threatening foreclosure while ignoring $8,200 worth of payments isn't going to win them a lot of favor. The funniest thing is, they do not want a foreclosure. They just want extra fees, and the foreclosure risk is to scare you into paying them because, guess what, foreclosure costs them a lot. This is behavior you'd want to report to the FTC, CFPB, and state AG. Not unexpected of the Stagecoach gang, though. They seem to have taken more of their modern approach from the infamous outlaws robbing stagecoaches than the actual security they were originally known for. OP replied. And back then they really didn't want any more houses to have to unload. Most of it though was their own dang fault. So many people got adjustable rate mortgages, ARMs, at reasonable rates. But then the companies got greedy and, wait for it, adjusted the interest rate that effectively doubled most mortgage payments, with the borrowers usually couldn't afford. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Wells had relatively little subprime exposure, although it bought a whole bunch of it when it acquired Wachovia. I sent in an extra payment for my mortgage once and they called me to ask if I wanted it applied to the interest or the principal. Like. Literally they were thinking some idiots are going to say interest in this situation. It's one step short of actually robbing me with a gun. I asked the person if they had to ask that and she said, with a sigh, yes. So, I didn't go off on the rep but holy crap that should be illegal. OP replied. Like the old Eddie Izzard, cake or death? Death. No wait, cake. Well, there isn't any more cake. So, my choices are or death? We weren't expecting such a rush. I had this situation with a power company. I didn't owe them any money, they owed me about £250 but they couldn't refund me the money because I somehow owed them money even though I was in a ton of credit on my gas and like £50 outstanding on my electric. To get my credit back I had to send them about £300 that I somehow owed. Then the credit could be released to me. My gas ended up being in a crazy amount of credit because something was wrong on their end and I had to pay a ton of money I didn't owe to make it right on their end. No other way to fix it. In the end I was sent all the extra money I'd paid back to my card and I got a check sent to me for the rest. But then my account was now in debt for the amount they had just refunded me. On their system the refund said it went through twice. It was a total mess for weeks of them telling me their system over-refunded me and me telling them I wasn't refunded £1,000. I just got the £500 I was owed. It was sorted but holy crap what the hell? They were sending me letters the entire time saying they were going to send my account to debt collectors, a debt I didn't even have. Yeah, they deserved to lose your business. Glad it worked out for you OP. Reminds me of my buddy paying off his student loans. He'd finally found a great job that paid quite well. He also sold a house and bought a cheaper one when he got the new job. So, he took his extra money and asked his loan office what the total was left on the loan, and cut the check that day. 2 months later he's getting letters saying that he's behind on his payments. In between him sending the check and them cashing it, 1 more month of interest was added to his total. He got a few months of late fees on just that interest that was unpaid. My man was fuming after all the BS. Glad you managed to save yourself from this one. What a terrible company/business world we live in. That sucks. Most mortgage statements will have a disclaimer saying this is not the amount to pay off your loan to prevent that exact scenario. The correct way to do it is to ask for a payoff statement with a good through date. It will have all of the interest and escrows pre-calculated to the day. What astounds me is that they only gave you 10 days to come up with the money. I know in my state they have to give at least a month in addition to multiple late/no payment warnings before it even gets to that point. Then, there's this dual, well, your next payment is due in 2 weeks and there will be penalties and late fees applied, so the amount is XYZ and we are raising your interest rate to nearly twice what it was before. They are already charging a late fee and raising the interest on a payment that was 2 weeks away. It honestly sounds like you could have taken them to court and easily won a nice settlement against them for violating the FCRA, or whichever act it is. IANL. This also reminds me of my very first mortgage. We had it set up through our bank to directly transfer from our checking to our mortgage account at the same bank automatically. A year after the mortgage started, we got a letter in the mail that they were getting ready to foreclose due to non-payment. It was like 9 p.m. Monday, so there was no way we could reach someone to talk about it. We got a call the next evening from the bank threatening the same thing. The payments have been taken out of my account automatically every month. Where have they been going? It shows being paid to the mortgage. Oh. Well, it's only been paying against your principal but not the interest. The amount is supposed to go for the whole payment. You're short $8,000 which must be paid by Friday before foreclosure procedures start. This is your bank's fault. I'd suggest finding someone to fix it. Otherwise, we'll transfer everything to another bank. Well, let me see what we can figure out. Long pause, okay. It looks like we can transfer some of the money to the interest payments from the principal. You're all set. I do apologize for this issue. Please, forgive the inconvenience. Okay. 12 months later it happened again, even though I had statements showing exactly how the payments were being distributed. I ended having to take the day off of work to show them the papers in person. There's nothing we can do. You can either pay the $8,000 or find someone else to service your mortgage. The next week, we had a new mortgage at another place that specifically did mortgages and had access to hundreds of lenders. APR went from 7.1% variable down to 3.1% fixed with no closing costs.